Battery level is low. Aircraft will return to the home point in 10 seconds.
This is nuts. The Air 3's or Mini 4 is way up there, and the Air 3's like, I'm not wasting it. They're gonna crash for sure. Oh, they're gonna crash. Jeez, that's close. Unfortunately, when you're traveling, you only have enough room to bring one drone along with you. And for me, last year I hit up 7 different countries with this, the DJI Mini 4 Pro. And for me, after a few missed opportunities and blotched shots, I decided that I was gonna check out this year the Air 3S. Now I wanted to run some side-by-side tests with the Mini 4 Pro and see if it is in fact worth its weight in drone, because it is quite a bit heavier than the Mini 4 Pro. So I spent all summer stacking the two together, and I've tested every problem that I had with this Mini 4 Pro to see if indeed I can cure all. And in today's video, you're going to see my results along with which one of these gems is coming with me on my next world tour. Now, along the way, I found out some very interesting stuff, especially that I've been flying the Mini 4 Pro well over the 249 grams this whole time, and there's a really good chance that you are too. Once I picked up my handy dandy little meat scale here, I found out that my Mini 4 Pro actually weighs a little over 290 grams, which was crazy to me. Now I'm going to explain to you why that is when we get into the weight restrictions and why they matter, but first, this is the perfect opportunity to test out my #1 most blotched shot on the Air 3S, and that is stability with hyperlapse over calm water. Out of all the epic shots that I try and get when I'm out and filming, this one is the one that drives me nuts because I can never get it right with the Mini 4 Pro. So this is actually the #1 reason why I went out and bought the Air 3S to try. See if it'll do what I want it to do. So I got them set up here and we are going to test and see.
Home point updated.
So in this test, the Mini 4 Pro holds on a little better than it did in the low light, but it's still not something that I would use in one of my videos. The Air 3S, on the other hand, isn't quite perfect, but it is a lot better. And here is a look at it in the low light from last night's comparison. So I still got a little bit of battery juice left. I'm gonna run an orbiting time lapse, or a circle lapse it's called, on the control, and we're gonna compare those as well. In this orbiting test, the Mini 4 Pro does a lot better than it did in the course lock, and is only slightly more jittery than the Air 3S, which is another solid workhorse. But for this old troubadour, it doesn't really matter. I could use either of this footage in my videos and I'd be happy. And I actually have used a fair bit from the Mini 4 doing this kind of a shot in the past. So that is just one monkey off of my back. But the problem is that there was a whole barrel of monkeys crawling all over me. And before I can justify the footprint of this larger drone, I have a few more tests to run before booking it a seat beside me on the airplane. Now, the next monkey that is on my back is all about active track. And if you follow my channel at all, you know that I like to rent vehicles when I do my traveling overseas and I go on road trips. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you should probably do it. The active track on the Mini 4 Pro is a little bit less than ideal for speed. And when you get into countries like Thailand and the Philippines, Costa Rica was a very busy place to drive. You can't be lagging behind all the traffic. You have to go with the flow, and it made it very hard to do that with the Mini 4 Pro, and I just felt like I was a bit of an asshole driver, just a filthy tourist who's, you know, hogging the road and taking up all this time. So let's get out there and see if the Air 3S can outdo the Mini 4 in the active track driving. So here's how I got this set up. I am going to fly each one of these drones at the same time on either side of the car at 90 degrees, and I'm just looking for speed. I want to see which one falls behind first. I'm sure it's going to be the little one. I just want to see how big of a difference it is. Now, doing this side-by-side comparison just took me down memory lane and brought back all this anxiety. When I was trying to get the Mini 4 Pro to line up, it wouldn't latch on, where to my surprise, this Air 3S just grabbed on like a Rottweiler and didn't want to let go. You can imagine what it would be like driving through traffic, through some epic scenery by yourself, and recenter it with the joysticks because it just keeps letting go. It takes a long time before it gets tracked,
And even then, as soon as it starts to get iffy, it just backs way off and you have to bring it back down again.
So that was pretty straightforward for me. I'm going to have to look at the footage to make sure I can see. It looked like the Mini 4 started giving up around 43 kilometers per hour, and the Air 3S like closer to 55, which is a pretty big difference. That's good enough for me. They tracked differently. The Air 3S just locked right on and stayed beside it. Well, I don't know what the Mini 4 was doing. I had to adjust with the joystick, and that's happened to me many times. It doesn't lock, it just kind of does what it wants to. So that's a big problem for me as well. You know, it's a good way to get into a crash if you're driving and playing with your joystick. Now, one of the other monkeys on my back is how long it takes that Mini 4 to lock onto satellites when you get going. So I tried this test back in my yard, but they are both pretty quick there, I think, because I keep locking in and out of there. So I'm gonna take off. I got a cool place I can take some shots and test a vertical camera. So I'm gonna go over there and I am going to set up a quick start, a cold start, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to time them and see who does the best. All right, let's go. So this is a pretty windy place, and it's a place that I haven't launched either of these drones before, so it's going to be a really good spot to fire them up and see who can talk to God first. And speaking of talking to God, there is a church here. So afterwards, I am going to run both drones around the church in the vertical mode. Now, everybody harps about the Mini 4 Pro being superior to the Air 3S because it shoots in vertical 4K, and that's true. The Air 3S only shoots in 2.7, but for me, it doesn't really matter. I only post to like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and all of these places they upload at 1080p for vertical video. As far as I know, that's what it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, I'm gonna run the test and you decide.
All right, here we go. Now we see.
Home point updated.
22 already. Oh, they both killed it. That was a dead tie.
The Mini 4 Pro was just a little bit quicker than the Air 3S. That's insane. I'm gonna try it again in a different spot. It was so close, in fact, that human error probably played a part in it. They were dead even. But I thought it was lightning fast. Oops. There.
Home point updated.
They are so darn close. The Mini 4 is a little faster. Crazy. It's all in my head. Good thing I did the test a couple of times. So you can't make that up. I did the test 2 different times at 2 different areas I've never been before, and again, it was just not even a full second in between the two. I'd say they're the same. The Mini 4 did update the home point by voice faster. So that's not going to reflect my decision on which one I take along with me, but this might. So now I've got the drones doing a final lap. I'm going to run them till they're out of battery because that is another thing I wanted to know, the real flight time. So look at that. The Mini 3 decided that it's going to come home before the Air 3S.
Battery level is low. Aircraft will return to the home point in 10 seconds.
This is so darn close. We'll see who gets here first. This is nuts. The Air 3's, or Mini 4 is way up there, and the Air 3's like, I'm not wasting out. They're going to crash for sure. Oh, they're going to crash. Jeez, that's close. I don't have the remotes near me. This is insane. Who's gonna win? You can see the little marks where they took off from. So the Mini 4 is scared to land, and the Air 3S just says no problem. That's crazy. That is identical. The times are identical how they fly. Now to start talking about the 249 gram thing, my little mini drone weighing in at 292, I think it was. The reason for that is that DJI sells a few different bundles. You can get just the standalone drone with a battery, and then there is the Fly More package, and there's a Fly More Pro package. So I got the Fly More Pro package, which comes with this bigger battery, which gives you equal to or more than, in my case, from what I found, flight time than the Air 3S. All of my tests so far, I had a little bit more juice left on the Mini 4 when I was done. Now, how important is that 249 gram rule? In my opinion, not very. Out of all the countries that I visited last year and the year before that, I think there's about 7 or 8 different countries that I brought my drone to. And the only ones that really cared about this rule, or that this rule made any kind of a negative impact, was Canada, my own backyard, and the United States. Now, when you get to places like Thailand, you have to register your drone no matter what you're flying. And Costa Rica, you don't have to register anything, I think, if it's under 25 kilograms. Panama is a really interesting place. I haven't flown my drone there yet, but I am going in December, and I did register my drone, at least what I could get done, from home now. And what's interesting about Panama is that if you fly a bigger drone, you're still registering, you're doing all the same paperwork as you would with less than 250 grams, but anything over, you get actually some benefits out of it. You can fly higher, like according to their laws, you can only fly the 250 gram drone 30 meters high, and the anything between 250 grams and 5 kilograms, I believe, is 60 meters is what it is. Yeah, there are a handful of places throughout the world where it does make a difference. I think the European Union also has some rules on that, but I've never flown a drone there, and I don't really intend to. I don't really go to Europe very much, so that's kind of just not going to happen for me. So while that might make a big difference for some people, it doesn't make a difference for me, but it does have a bigger footprint. Not only is the drone itself bigger, but also the batteries. Now, the carrying case is another story. The footprint of that is quite a bit bigger with the Air 3S, and I found that in order for me to justify taking this thing along, this case is going to have to go. So what I did was I went out and I bought myself a new bag, and it was actually the Peter McKinnon Nomadic 13-liter messenger bag. I have been running the backpack, the 35-liter McKinnon backpack, and the 8-liter sling bag for my A6700, which I'm filming on right now, and this bag is just awesome for the drone. It is a bigger footprint, but for me, after all these tests that I learned, it is worth it. The Hyperlapse is the biggest thing, and the tracking is the second biggest, and those two things are going to be the reason why this Air 3S is coming with me. There are a ton of different reasons why you might want one drone or the other, and this is just a story about what is going on in my world and what I need to be bringing with me. But for now, this sucker remains king, and I am taking you with me on all my travels this winter. I'm the Jaunting Ape. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now keep on traveling, and remember, the world is yours. Oh yeah, and a promise is a promise. Drone A was the Air 3S at the church, and drone B was the Mini 4 Pro. Now, it's pretty hard to tell them apart. Let me know if you did. When I keep looking back, I can see there's a great deal of better dynamic range that the Air 3S is putting out in those pine trees. And there's also something else it can do. It can do this, which is super cool.